You are live. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Today is the last day of April, and then we were going to be going into May Day. Here where I live, generally we have a lot of rain in April, and it's coming true. But we have some beautiful May flowers coming about. So that's nice and cheery. So the subject I want to talk to you about today um, is quieting the mind. I believe a lot of us have mind chatter, and lately, people around me, clients, they're fighting with this mind, uh, constantly worrying and affecting them in the ways of anxiety and depression. And so the mind keeps going, the mind keeps chattering, it never stops, it never shuts up. And that's what I've been hearing from people. So um, when I first started doing meditation, this was reason why, because I constantly had this mind chatter. It would just never stop. Overthinking things. Oh, did I do that right? Is this going to turn out right? Well, what if this happens? And how am I going to deal with that? And so we try to process everything in our mind or through our mind instead of listening to our intuition or slowing the mind down. Quieting the mind is very much um, impossible. Impossible in the way that if you keep trying to stop your mind from thinking, you're creating this almost like hamster wheel in your brain because it's not stopping because you're thinking to stop it. And how is it going to stop if you continue to think, how can I stop this? It's a vicious cycle. One person that I actually dealt with, learned a lot about this from was Eckhart Tolle and the pain body and the incessant mind chatter. And it's just very interesting how, as we try to quiet the mind will keep going. So my thought process was to take this space between the mind and allow for this space to be created. So the more you think, the more you want to create a space between your thoughts. And this is basically a teaching of Eckhart Tolle. So as I practice, and yes, everything's a process, everything takes time, and everything takes practice. So the more you practice how to do this every day, spanning longer and longer between your thoughts, it will help you to end result being that you're going to stop thinking these thoughts or thinking, and then once you stop thinking, you're going to realize that you're not getting the same amount of anxiety that comes through as well. And that's a huge thing that I think is going on right now is so many people have anxiety. Why do they have anxiety? Probably because they're overthinking things that are futuristic, well, or something that's happened and they're blowing it all out of proportion in their mind's eye, like they're in their mind, like they're just keep thinking, keep creating, but they're creating things that are causing them more anxiety, more mind thoughts. So it's a vicious cycle. So as I do this mindfulness and be mindful of how I'm thinking, what the subject matter is happening. This is another thing too. So a long time ago, I decided to not regret anything. So this was a big part of this stop thinking. So being consciously aware of what I'm doing and maybe taking a moment before I say something that's going to create a bubble effect of something else happening. And then all of a sudden you regret what you said, you feel bad about it, or somebody doesn't like what you said. And then all of a sudden you're feeling bad about it. And then this mind thought happens again. So I want you to take time out and maybe not so much quiet your mind in a meditation, but with your eyes open, being consciously aware of your surroundings and quieting your mind by sitting out in your garden, looking at the flowers, or sitting there by the water and watching the waves ripple in. These are processes that can help you to stop thinking, to stop this incessant mind boggle, right? Because as you're watching the ripple of these waves come in, or you're watching a tree with the leaves fluttering, then all of a sudden you're creating space between your thoughts, because now you're watching something and there's no thoughts about it. You're watching the water ripple in. You're watching the leaves wave in the wind. There's no thought beyond it. So this takes practice, though. You're either doing meditations every day or taking time out where you're looking at the trees, being in nature, and calming your body, and maybe even doing some breath work, breathing in and out. And as you do, you will notice that your shoulders will all of a sudden just start, not being so tense. So it's mindfulness that needs to be practiced every day, and consciously aware of how you're reacting to things, how you're processing things that have happened, or something has happened and it's kind of made you angry and you want to react, but maybe take that maybe take that moment to not react to it at that moment. Think about it for a second. Maybe there's another way. So this is all part of just having tools and processing the situations that are surrounding you at the time. Because when we do that, this helps us move forward with not having so much on our mind, not processing things all the time. I remember back quite a while ago, oh my gosh, 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. And I remember trying to process something and I would talk it over, and I swear I was talking to myself about it, and she did this and he did this and how dare them, and it was creating this tension and this crazy energy just to keep bubbling up in my body, instead of just stepping back, paying attention to what I'm doing. This is how accidents happen too, because when we're not paying attention to what we're doing, then accidents happen. We're in our mind. We're not consciously aware of what's happening because we're in our mind. So there's no clear thought. There's brain fog at that time. So I hope this helps with clearing your mind, creating a space between the thoughts. And as you do that, you create a space between the thoughts and another space between the thoughts and another space. And then all of a sudden you have a lot of time between your thoughts. The other thing is when I started doing meditations, it wouldn't take me a long time. It was almost like once I sat down, that was the switch, and then mind went completely blank. But this is after a year or so of practicing that, okay, this is my time. This is what's going to happen. And here we go. So just day by day, moment by moment, continue a process that will help you move forward and creating this space in your thoughts. We're going into the month of May, and May is such a beautiful time for flowers to be out in our gardens or out in the gardens. If you are living in a city that have many gardens, go sit in a garden. Go sit because the weather is starting to become warmer. So go sit in a garden. Go sit outside in nature and just take those times to create those spaces, consciously aware of creating the spaces between your thoughts. And this will help you to quieting the mind eventually. But to tell yourself to, because I'm going to summarize this, tell yourself to quiet your mind. It's not going to work. It's just that vicious cycle. So, try this process. Try helping yourself to create the space between your thoughts. And I want you to have a wonderful May. And I will be back for June's vlog because now I'm doing vlogs instead of blogs. So, and this is located on my website as well, milesofsmiles.ca. If you're seeing me on YouTube, or you can see me on Facebook at Miles of Smiles Alternative Solutions, then you will continue to follow me because I'm here to help you on different things that will happen during your day, year, month. So see you again. Have a great day. Bye for now.